Next dance group. The Mount St. Elias dancers from the Academy. The Mount St. Elias dancers are combined with dancers who represent the following clans. The Club One Non, the Takeaway, the Sheikh Bukagi, the Yushkitan, and the Kwashkakwan, and the Litkachadi. Some of the songs the group are singing are more than 1,000 years old. In 1955, elders of the African decided it was time to teach the young people these songs and dances of their ancestors. These 5 elders were Harry Bretner Sr., Nick Milton, Charlie White, Bullock Abraham, and Peter Frank. Their descendants are the dancers you will see today. And as I let them make their way in, I do need to just do my better introduction. I'm a little more than Joe. Take with the Washkakwan Yadi, Yaktakwan. Was old Abraham. He had many names, and I was a beneficiary and received one of his many names. Peter Frank was a grandfather of mine, great grandfather. So I'm from Yakutat, and I'm just privileged to be here with you. As people make their way in, please make sure there is keep the aisleways clear. We might reach capacity, and people are asking to be respectful of space. And if you have room next to you, let others squeeze it and take your seat. One last time, help me welcome the Mount St. Elias dancers.
Gnilchish the cut Yuhan. Gnilchish Akpan. Da Kupan. Has the cut Yeg with the Ziku. Knachak Eko Uchi Seti. Yach Ish has Ushkitan. Ach Kanian. Yan Yedi. Has to Daklawedi. Shengukwedi. Ha Gnilchish Kagwantan. Ach Lish go has Kagunilchish. Si Alaska hat ha ye ike. Kunach stuka hat eti. Was it the shot you had to a sock. Yakdak. For the Mount St. Elias dancers. Primarily, we are descendants of the people of Katliak Kwan, Tlachayik Kwan, also known as Yakdat Kwan, and Gunahu Kwan. My name is Shakawish, I am Disitan. And that first song that you heard us do there is one of our outside songs. It belongs to my grandfather's people, the Katliak Kagwantan. And it's a song that was composed for a potlatch in Yakdat in 1904. And it was first sang on the way to that potlatch. There was a steamship that came from out west in Katela, where the Katliak Kagwantan had a village. And on that steamship, the Katliak Kagwantan came for that potlatch. And they sang that song. And originally, they used that whistle on the steamship to signal the start and the end of the song. That song that we came dancing in on is one of my favorites ever to dance. And it is our ancestors' people from Kunahu Kwan. It belongs to the Tluknakhadi. We use that song to come in. And as you can see and as you can feel right now, that song brings the power of our ancestors. It's as if our grandparents are standing here. They're giving us strength. This next song we're going to do for you is our spear song. But we want to take the song and use it to honor all of our native veterans. So if you would stand and be recognized, Gnilchish. Also, in our Tlingit way, we have Eka Ka. It's the warrior. And we just want to say we're thankful for everybody who's still warriors for us. The people that are going out there, maybe they're not fighting, but they're doing the jobs that we need for our tribal people. So Gnilchish. I got too excited and I forgot to say something. I was going to give examples of the people who are helping, whether they're directors or educators or people doing admin work, people volunteering in the community, or if they're actors, like Martin. Hirsateen Wake, Helena Nelson, Hago, Hainak Kitleich, Yashikade. She's gonna dance with us. This song. She's retiring, so we're going to use this song to honor her. But also for this next song, as many of you may know, there was a paddle to Celebration this year. A lot of canoes made it in. I don't remember what the actual count was, how many of us there were. But we had a canoe that came down from Yakdat. We have a lot of our crew with us here today. And we have, as my co-pace setter, and also the other speaker for the group, Anakwe Gunachish. And then we have, I don't see him up here, Achish, my father, Kaskanaat. He was our skipper this year. There were a lot of us that paddled on our way down, and it's a long journey. We paddled here from Huna, and it was pretty amazing. So we're going to use this song right now to honor all of those people that paddled with us as well. The canoes, there were canoes from Cake, Angoon, Ketchikan, Sitka. There was, Haines, there were canoes from Haines, as well as a veteran's canoe. It was an amazing experience to be able to paddle with all those people. So now and there was a women's canoe. There was a women's canoe to honor all of our beautiful, strong Native women from the Northwest Coast and from all over the world.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you here. Welcome to our Native Heritage Month celebration. We'll get the food blessed and we can get lunch going. But before we start, can I please have it quiet for just a moment? Can I please have it quiet for just a moment? I would like to honor a couple of elders. We had John Morris passed away and John Wilson. So I just want to have a moment of silence for the elders. They were part of our elders program. Goodness, Chish, and if I can have somebody bless the food. I think I saw Pastor Jerry come in. I didn't see where he sat, though.
Let's have a word of prayer. Father, we come in the name that's above every name, your Son, Jesus Christ, and thank you, Lord of God, for this gathering today. And Lord, we ask that you'll minister to each and every one. Father, for those that lost loved ones, put your hand upon them and give them the inner peace. And Lord, we invite your presence here today and bless the food and fellowship. We ask and thank you now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Goodness, Chish, and you know the drill. Everybody who wants to get their own plate can go through the line. If you'd like to be served, stay seated and no bucking in line. I'm watching.
How many of you guys made it to our other performance last night? Those of you that were there, you got to witness something special. You guys remember what it was? And hopefully we don't have a repeat tonight. For those of you that don't know, this next song that we danced, when we sang it at the other place, I was rejected 3 times by 3 different ladies in front of everybody. Hopefully I'll have better luck tonight. This song is a love song that comes from the Yakutat area. It was composed down in Dry Bay to the tune of an old gambling song. And we use it here tonight to honor those people, 2 of those clans that moved to Yakutat after leaving Dry Bay. So we're singing to the children of the Shangukweidi and the children of the Tluknakhadi. And I ask for those of you that are Shangukweidi Yatke and Tluknakhadi Yatke to stand when we call you out. At this time, we're going to bring our ladies up front. Yakutat is known and has always been known for 3 things. Our amazing Yakutat strawberries. They're the best that I've tried anywhere in the world. Our native copper and our beautiful ladies. We have some of the most beautiful ladies anywhere on the coast, anywhere in the interior that I've seen. So we're going to show them off with this next song. It's called the Honey Song. Okay, I'd like to bring our men back forward. And now we're kind of short on time, which I think is okay because I've been told that Yakutat people kind of talk fast anyway. Wait, so which are we doing? Let's go jumping. Now, after showing off our ladies. And after that little confidence boost that I got there, I was 0 for 3 at the other place, and I was 2 for 2 here. Feeling pretty good. So now I'd like to show off the strength of these young men out here. And this is a song that used to be used in competitions in Yakutat when we'd be dancing against people that came in from other places, Tsimshian, Haida, Aliu, Talutik, and Athabascan peoples. We're gonna do the jumping song.
Can I get a raise of hands if you're still waiting for food? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5?
He's my uncle and my clan leader. You guys might know him by a different title though. Byron Malott, if you could come up here, perform this one on stage with us.
I have 4 more back here.
Now, okay, I keep hearing people ask for more. We'll do one more song before we dance out. As I mentioned earlier, our people like to trade.
We are good on serving elders. Ganesh Chish.
Gentlemen, I remember a long time ago as a young boy, The only thing that we had to gear to was the sun coming up or the tide going out or coming in. That was our time clock. Now we got 30 minutes to be on the stage, so I'm going to let him go. For those of you that never heard me speak before, when you're invited to a potluck, they give you 1 year ahead of time. And to announce to the people who's inside of the potluck building, you sing the outside song. This is what they're doing at this time, announcing to you they're here, ready to dance. We found out from the old people that some of our songs are over 1,000 years old, and we would like to do one for you called Xanadu, which they brought down when they migrated to Yakutat while the glacier was still out in the Gulf. Goop.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so good to see you all, and happy Dr. Walter Soboleff Day. Yep. It's no worries. It's good to see everybody here and for us to come together. I want to recognize and thank the people of Akwan for allowing us to be here and to do the good work we do here on their lands. I know Anne had already mentioned and asked for a moment of silence, but I want to ask that we keep the families in prayer. I see the family of John Wilson are here. His widow Sue is in the back, son Jason and his daughter-in-law. Yesterday, I think 2 days ago, we lost John Moore Sr. And so we just ask you to keep them in your hearts, lift their family in prayer. We know that they're in a better place, called home by Creator, but we really mourn for ourselves, right? The loss that void that's created by their loss. So I just ask for us to be extra thoughtful as we lose precious elders. I also want to ask us to keep Auntie Leona Santiago in prayer. It's public knowledge, so I can share. She was medevaced yesterday to Seattle with a heart attack. And so she's near and dear to so many of us. And we just ask that we keep her and her family in your prayers as well. And we all know collectively how powerful our prayers are. So I really appreciate that we can take those moments and do it in your own way, but have that relationship and ask for prayer for the families, because it really does help. It's an honor to stand before you today as President Clinton Haida, and I'm especially honored to take time to recognize Native American Heritage Month, especially on the day that we get to now recognize as Dr. Walter Soboleff Day. And so many of us were blessed to know him, his good work, his deeds, his words. And so it's great. I see his son Walter in front of me. I see his other son Sasha over here. I often think about when you have a leader like Dr. Soboleff who stood up and held up our people, how amazing his family must have been to share their father collectively with all the Tlingit, Haida, the Tsimshian people here in Southeast and beyond. So I say Atlinglikshish Jahawa to you, his family, who probably made the biggest sacrifices to share your father with all of us. So we appreciate you and your family and the legacy that's left of Dr. Soboleff. So I always find a special place in my heart when I see any of you because I appreciate you. I'm also really excited today to be joined by our President Emeritus, Ed Thomas. And Ed's going to share a few words about a project that he started a couple years ago. But, you know, I get a lot of recognition and credit as the president of Tlingit and Haida. And I say in all honesty and sincerity, it's easy to succeed when you follow in the footsteps of giants. I served for many years on the executive council with our president emeritus. I learned a great deal by observing and engaging with Ed and watching his leadership. And I'm really excited to announce a project we're working on. Our communication staff is putting together now, and we're going to be working on a biography of our president emeritus. And I'm really excited about that, to tell his story and his journey. He led our tribe for over 27 years. Tlingit and Haida is just a legacy across Indian country and a history in self-governance. We were trailblazers, and he followed in the footsteps of giants as well, and you know, carried us forward. And so today, 10 years into my leadership, I think of all the credit and recognition I get. None of that would have been possible if not for the trails that were blazed by Ed and so many others. So maybe we can all just give Ed a round of applause and thank him for being here. And we're here. Again, it's a special day to recognize not only Dr. Walter Soboleff, but Native American Heritage Month, where we get to celebrate the legacy of our ancestors, who we come from, why we are such thriving and strong people today, because of the sacrifices of our ancestors who did so much to lift us. And so I'm excited to welcome you all here. I'm excited to share this stage with our President Emeritus and also our newly elected Grand Camp President, Sasha Soboleff, and how fitting that is with the history that he himself has had with the Alaska Native Brotherhood and Sisterhood, but that of his father and the work that he did. So I think it's a good day just to come together, break bread, and celebrate who we are. I want to thank all of our elders for being here. I want to recognize our staff who have volunteered today to serve. I want to thank the Juneau Community Council who donated the salmon today and the herring eggs. Yes, give them applause. And our great crew in the Smokehouse Catering for putting this lovely lunch together so that we can share in fellowship and brotherhood and sisterhood of who we are. And I can pontificate and keep going on, but I think you're really here to hear from our President Emeritus and then followed by our Grand President. So with that, I'll turn it over to President Emeritus Ed Thomas.
Glasgow, Nakani. Well, it's good to see all of you. It's good to be back home. I realize that Juneau is not the town of my birth, but I spent more time here in Juneau than I did in my hometown where I was born. So I consider this at home as well as the place of my birth. And it's been a good journey for me as Clinton Haida president to have met so many people along the way. And one of the things I want to start off with is to point out that when I start looking up information about Andrew Hope, who this building is named after, and who has done great things on behalf of our people, I looked online, I couldn't find anything. And I just went on and on to see all these people up here. The majority of them do not have profiles in the computers. And if you look at other tribes in the lower 48, if you're familiar with their websites, they include the people that set the tone for our being recognized as a tribe and have done great things. I'm going to put my glasses on. I have reached an age where I can't just remember what I was supposed to say next. And then I went through a period of time where I relied totally on PowerPoint, and now I have to take notes. Well, first I want to thank President Peterson and the Executive Council for the opportunity to do the project on what I called the Hall of Fame, the Native Hall of Fame. And it's really great that we can do this presentation here today or talk about it during the month of November, which is the Native American Heritage Month. And it's also the month of Thanksgiving. And so while we talk about the things that our forefathers did and we appreciate them, we can be thankful for the kind of people they were to lead us through some very difficult times. Today is also the Dr. Walter Soboleff Day in Alaska. He was not only a cultural bearer and respected elder for his wisdom, he had a keen sense of humor. So I'm going to tell you a very short story about Walter that I heard from Albert Kukesh, who is very close to Dr. Soboleff. Albert talks about the time that he and Dr. Soboleff went to a memorial service for a departed friend named Willie. Albert commented to Walter that he was surprised that nothing was said about Willie's time in the service. And Walter said, yeah, I think he was in the Army. And Walter said, when did he serve? Walter said, I don't know. And Albert says, I don't know either. And jokingly, Walter said, well, when I get to heaven, I'll just ask Willie. And Albert said, well, what if he's not in heaven when you get there? And Walter said, well, then you ask him. I'm going to quickly go through some of the things that I think set the stage for what I wanted to talk about and the Hall of Fame. When I look around, it is good to see all of the things that are being done and have been done to improve the lives of our Native people in our region. Ancestral home, Tlingit Haida, Southeast Alaska is the ancestral home of the Tlingit Haida people. And I always say that Our people have been here from the beginning of time. And I know you've heard stories about migrations, but I really don't believe that because I listened to the myths of our people, and we have always been here. There's a few examples of things that I did in my research or found in my research, and I wanted to share them with you. For example, Rudolph Walton was the first Alaska Native to sue the federal government to allow our kids to go back into public schools as opposed to simply being in BIA schools, and that was done way back in 1908. AMB was the first organization to petition Congress to be involved and included in the Native American Citizenship Act of 1924. Nobody else had approached the government about it. AMB was the first organization to go forth and do that. Our people were the first to take action to sue the federal government for taking our land without permission and without compensation. Our people was the first to get our tribe recognized through an act of Congress in 1935. And that was the first time that a tribe in Alaska was recognized through an act of Congress. I'll move on to a more contemporary time. While John Borbis Jr. was our president, Clinton Haida was the very first tribe to enter into federal contracting under the Bayou Indian Act. And many of you may remember that we managed the Southeast Agency of the BIA all through those years prior to the passage of the Self-Determination Act. Janie Leask of Heritage Heritage was the first woman president of the Alaska Federation of Natives, and more progress was achieved under her presidency than any other following her. Albert Kukesh was the longest serving chairman of the board chairman of AFN. Dr. William Demmert Jr. was the leader of the team that led into the writing of the Indian Self-Determination Act of 1972. Tlingit Haida was the first tribe to enter into federal compacting with the BIA, and we're the first tribe in the nation to enter into a multi-agency compact with the federal government. These are just a few things that I use as an example, but when we're done with the project and the book is published, by the way, that publication is already on Tlingit Haida's website if you were interested in reading it. Those are examples of those that were before us that did some great things. And today I commend President Peterson and management team for following the legacy of our people and doing great things on behalf of our people. I also think it's a good thing that we got back a small portion of our homeland that was given to our corporations that are managed by our people. I know there are differences of opinion on how well that's gone, but on the other hand, it's still our corporations and it's our land. Then I think back and say, I wonder how hard it would be for us to try to do the things we're doing had it not been for those that were going to celebrate in our Native Hall of Fame. Some of the things that existed in that time, not only did they take our land, we were not citizens. We couldn't own property, we couldn't vote, or hold public office or participate in public policy meetings. And that's very important. And the Act of 1924 gave us citizenship so that we could not only vote and hold public office, but we can participate in public meetings. And by the way, that act allowed all of our people to vote, even some of them that voted for Trump. I want to thank the Sealaska Heritage Institution for the financial support of this project. And they made available their archives so that we can research some of these people that are in the Hall of Fame. I also want to thank President Peterson again for allowing Jody Garrison and Rand Holmes to not only get involved in the program, but to take it forward to the final stages of the program. And we'll be seeing the printing of the book in the very near future. And on a final note, President Peterson has agreed to take this forward as a Tlingit-Haida Hall of Fame project, and we will be able to induct new members into the Hall of Fame in the future. Because while people have done things good in the past or done good things in the past, we have people today who are doing good things in their communities, in our public organizations. And we really need to make sure that we continue to document what they're doing on behalf of our people. I'm going to close with one final story on Dr. Sobolev. I hope it's okay. I might be going over my time. But this was also told by Albert Kukac when he was in the legislature. He went to Anchorage for a Democratic Party leadership conference. And he thought he'd go just a little bit early so he could get a good place to sit. As he walked into the conference room, near the front was seated Dr. Sobolev. And Albert immediately walks over to him and he says, Walter, what are you doing here? You're a Republican. Walter immediately responded and said, yeah, they looked all over Alaska. They couldn't find a Democrat that knew how to vote, so I'm here to pray for you, know how to pray. So I'm here to pray for you guys. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and thanks for celebrating Native American Heritage Month and Dr. Walt Sobolev's birthday. Kunashish Hawa.
During this Chish, President Emeritus Thomas, for sharing your words with us and being with us and talking about the many individuals that have led the way for us. At this time, we'd like to welcome the Eagle Raven Dancers.
Ikune.
Gynashesh, Lakat Johan. Kaajos Yohat Sach. Kagwan Tan Hatsati, Daktain Tan Yat Giwishkitanda Chan. We are the Eagle Raven Dancers. Eagle Raven Dancers was first established in Juneau during 1980 by Agnes Ballinger. She was the instructor and director who passed on Valentine's Day in 2006. Agnes has had previous other dance groups in Seattle, Portland, Haines, and Klukwan. She was proud to say she was taught many others who have gone on to form other groups. Eagle Raven Dancers are made up of a wide range of relatives, mostly from the Chilkat area. Our songs are all from the Chilkat area and taught to us by Agnes. She was our teacher, director, elder, and mentor. The current leaders of the Eagle Raven Dancers are Jackie Peda, Nechka Kuge, and Cass Cropley. Leona Lindoff Santiago passed down leadership recently to this wonderful group of ladies so they could continue to teach all that she has instilled in them. Our beloved auntie and grandma is currently in Seattle. She was medevaced yesterday, as our president, Chuck Yaish, said. And we ask that you all send strength, healing, and prayers for her, so that way she is back with us very soon. Today we'll be performing our Gunana trade songs. These Athabascan songs brought from the interior in Canada show the relationship we had with the villages and communities around us. The trade routes, the trail songs shared from traveling great distances, traveling the mountain passes to bring goods back and forth, and to marry into other communities. Sheesh.
Hey! sheesh. Also with these trade songs came invitationals. So let's hope that you're all in the mood to dance with us today. Sheesh. Kunishjish, Latayam, Kunishjish. I hope we did okay for you today. It's been a great honor to be here in front of all of you and to celebrate Native American Heritage Month. And let's keep celebrating Native American Heritage Year all the time. Kunishjish, we'll exit now.
So the exit song that we are about to do was composed by Leona Santiago. She created the song during the pandemic when we were all alone. We sing this song for her in hopes that she can come home soon. Kunishjish.
Hey!
During the Chish to the Eagle Raven dancers, it's always so wonderful when we're all together and we get to hear our songs, and it's always uplifting, and would like to keep Leona in our prayers. I know she's very dear to many of us here. At this time, I would like to introduce our current Grand President, Sasha Sobolov. He is Tlingit and Haida and has dedicated much of his leadership to civic engagement. He has worked on various initiatives to strengthen Native communities, focusing on education, language preservation, and the importance of traditional practices. He was also is an active member of the Juneau Lions Club, serving in leadership roles. He is a respected voice in conversations surrounding the intersection of modern challenges and Native traditions, striving to ensure that Indigenous ways of life continue to thrive. He continues serving as a bridge between generations and advocating for the well-being and self-determination of Alaska Native peoples. It is so fitting today to hear from Sasha on Walter Sobolov Day. Can you please help me in welcoming Grand President Sasha Sobolov?
My goodness, what did we do before we had these, huh? Well, they used to be attached to the wall and you had to stand there talking on it. Or better yet, you had to wait till the other party on the party line hung up their phone. Or better yet, if you had a tin can with a string tied between the two, you could play it that way too. Thank you so much, President Peterson, for the great honor of being able to talk with our people and to do some wonderful things that have been accomplished by Central Council through your leadership. And it was a special, heartwarming opportunity to sit and have lunch with Ed Thomas, President Emeritus. I was a young man in my early 20s, and Bill Demmert had lost his fishing boat, the Comet, that year, and had a new boat called the Melanie Ann. And the word got to my dad that you're going to go down and work for Bill. I said, yoo-hoo. So I got on the plane and landed there, and that's when I first found out that, you know, the seine, when it goes out, there's just ropes and web going everywhere. I had never seen that before. And as the season went on, I got more familiar, and of course, my good friend Ed was the web guide. And they were standing down on the back of the seine after we pulled it in, and I went up to Ed and I said, Ed, you're quite a seine guy that way. He kind of smiled, and I said, how do you do that? And he looked at me, he said, well, Sasha, you have to find the corner first. And to me, it was just like a big mess bundle of webbing there. And I said, well, how do you do it? He said, well, it's right there. And they picked up and sewed. That was my introduction. I said, you know, Pumps is quite a guy. Oops, I better pay the $1 for saying that nickname. I'll willingly do so, Ed. Well, we have much to talk about in a short time to talk about it. The first few minutes is going to be about Reverend Dr. Walter Sobolev, Sr. All of you either knew him as pastor or Dr. Sobolev or Reverend. We called him Dad. And Dad was quite a unique guy because he recognized the power of what individuals do. And it's power that goes like this. I want to mention the accomplishments of someone that you may know that didn't even do this. This student went through elementary and high school, studied business and office technology at AvTech, the vocational school. She studied the Office of Foundation and Support at the University of Alaska Anchorage, studied at the Human Services at the University of Alaska Fairbanks, got her certificate for attending 2 years of college, and then even studied the Bachelor's of Arts in Social Work at the University of Alaska Fairbanks and was a graduate of this year. And don't walk away, Margaret. I want you to know that amongst yourselves are people who are working this program that have done marvelous things. And step forward, Margaret. She is the one who has earned these degrees and works willingly on your behalf. Give her a round of applause. Thank you, Margaret. One of the other interesting things is you get the opportunity to hear very briefly about Dad. Dad had a mission in life that was clearly for everyone to see. Many things were written about him. As children, my older sister, and thank God I have only one older sister, there's me and my younger brother, Walter Jr., and of course our beloved Ross, who has passed on. We learned a couple things real quick. You answer the phone correctly when someone calls. You don't just say, hello. We were schooled by Dad to say, Sobolev's residence, how may we help you? And second of all, we learned about, in this day and age, that when we're traveling at the airports or when we're on the marine highway system, or if we're just going down the street to a meeting, someone will stop you and say, I have a story about your dad. And that's just such a blessing because he had that kind of impact on everyone who came in contact with him. In a recent publication called The First Alaskans, here's a little snippet about Walter. The teacher pulled aside a Tlingit boy whose rapt attention he secured to deliver an indelible message. He said to young Walter Sobolev, take care of the old person you're going to be. Dad said, I never forgot that. At first I thought it was very strange talk, he said, but it just remained with me all the time. I remember that through grade school and through high school and through college and also through graduate school. He never forgot that saying, take care of that old person that you're going to be. The 10-year-old became an Alaskan icon. In November 2010, he turned 102, extending the unfinished legacy of Founded on Peace, a voice of quiet power that would fight racism, trying to stem the methodological erosion of the native culture. Walter Sobolev Sr. sits as a regal man as he expresses what has happened with the thoughtful comments and reflecting a sharp memory, engaged in mind, in his absolute refusal to hold a grudge to anybody. In today's world, that's not an easy task, and it wasn't easy back then. He also was a man of few words, and here's another snippet which was meaningful to him and all of us who try to take on these big projects. And it reminded me, as Ed was talking about, another project that he was doing. He said, when we start projects, God starts us out in a very small way. So we started out when we opened up Memorial Church in a very small way because the first service had 3 people. And look what it became. No different than the stories that you're hearing from lots of other people. Well, you heard Ed talk about Dr. Kukash, and here are 2 or 3 snippets about what others thought about him. Senator Dyson in the legislature had quite an intimate relationship because when he came down to the legislature, Dad would house him in the Princeton Hall. And that's where Fred Dyson stayed during the legislature. And it was my job to make sure that the boat was warm and it was taken care of. I had no clue who he was. But here's what Senator Fred Dyson said. It's his wisdom and graciousness that the epitome of what you expect or what you want elders of any culture. And he does it with such grace, a picture of humble and wise Christian elder. That was Walter. My brother Ross hit it right on the head from his perspective. I think Dad understood a long time before most people, your native identity is an important piece of who you are, but it isn't all of who you are. It's something that's vital and it's alive today. It's something that's going to take us into the future, and sometimes I honestly don't think that a lot of people get that. Senator Kukash, in the many stories that he had about Dad, said he had a far-reaching audience. If all of you remember, he would give that talk on the radio, giving current news in English and in Tlingit. The greater white society would allow him to speak in our language on the radio, and that was something. He didn't get arrested, and people listened to him. I would sit down underneath the podium when Dad was talking on the radio. I would listen closely what he would say. And one time he said in Tlingit that he wanted some of his buddies fishing at Point Retreat to bring him some salmon. And it happened the next day. That was Dad. Well, Dad also served 7 times as the Alaska Native Brotherhood Grand President. Quite an impressive record. Standing with all of these people that you see projected on the screen. In the 112th convention that was held last October, from October 9 to 11, I had the honor and privilege to be elected for the 4th time to the Alaska Native Brotherhood Grand President. And we have some work to do because our our native situation, while it's coming alive in culture, is still by and large excluded by Western society. And you kind of go, oh no, is he going to go there? I said, you betcha I'm going to go there. Anytime you want to get herring eggs, which was given to us today, goodness chief for handing it out. Anytime you want to get cedar from the cedar trees to do the basket weaving, anytime you get the wool so that you can do the wool thing, that isn't like just going out and do it. It is highly regulated. You have to get permission to do that. And beyond that, there are things that the state of Alaska allows to happen is there are commercial people, I'll talk about this, on the high seas trolling and throwing away the food that we eat. It's called bycatch. And they've been doing it for years. Not to mention that all of us go out to pick seaweed. There's a commercial seaweed operation that operates. They don't have to ask permission. They have a license to do it, and they don't do it on their land. They do it on our land and our seas. So while we're quoted as having Alaskans since 1959 in the Statehood Act, they forgot that who was here first? Go on. Who was here? Yeah, raise your hand. We were here before that. So I've been asked by the governor to come and talk with him. And I have 7 things to share with him, and I'll close with these 7 things. Number 1, our communities have been excluded and not at the table when decisions are made about what goes on our land and our oceans. Not only that, our families have mental unmet needs. When death comes to our door, no one in the Western world could give a hoot about what our families do. Thank goodness we have Nakonis who are in charge of taking care of that. Not only that, we have this issue of alcohol, chemical, and fentanyl, and addictions that run rampant in every community. And our families are dramatically impacted by that. Not only that, the Western culture sees fit to tie up about 43% of our native population in jail. Men and women and children. And no one from the state steps up and says, can we help you with this? I haven't heard it yet. Well, some of the things I'm going to teach our honorable governor, who may not be our honorable governor for very long if politics is going to take place. I'll say to him, Governor Dunleavy, on behalf of the Alaska Native Brotherhood, as Grand President, I'm here to come with an open mind saying to you, we need your help and your partnership to bring these services into our communities. We call them camps. And he'll look at me and I said, I'm not done with the introduction yet. Because we also have to mention our Alaska Native Sisterhood and everybody that's in the introduction, the least of which would go like this. President Peterson, Aryies, thank you. President Emeritus Ed Thomas, Dr. Thomas, thank you. Alaska Native Sisterhood Grand President Sandy Churchill from Wrangell. Alaska Native Sister President Emeritus Millie Schoonover. Alaska Native President Emeritus Richard Jackson. A&B and ANS members that you all are, guests, and most distinguished elders. Now is our time. It's okay to be Native. It's okay to practice our songs and dance, but when it comes to putting food on your table and helping when death knocks on your door, who helps you? We do. No one else comes to the door from the Western culture. We do. And if we have learned anything at the 112th convention, as I called around and talked to the different communities, the message was the same. Sasha, we're tired of being ignored. Sasha, how come we have to deal with these regulations to do things that we have done for hundreds of thousands of years? How come we can't get help when there's this rampant drug and alcohol and chemical abuse that doesn't come from anywhere else about the whole world into our communities? And yet, our men and women and our children are at that mercy, and nobody's talking about it. Well, I think it's high time to do something. We've done studying, we've done looking at the research, we've done writing resolutions that passed by Grand Camp, we've done trying to find out and look who's going to do this. We are now in the position of actually handing a bag or a box of basic food to the people who don't have food in our camps. And you know them, and I know them. They're our brothers and our sisters. That's why it's such an essential part to have this voice at the table that satisfies and completes the needs that we have, the least of which is to talk about your spiritual development. And if you ever want to bring a room to a quiet stand, ask the question, when was the last time you read the Bible? Pretty quiet. When was the last time you prayed a prayer that started out, the Kian Kao? That's what we're all about. And in today's world, they're waiting for us to make that first step, and that's what we intend to do from this point on. Goodness cheese for your time. Goodness cheese for the graciousness of the Akwan people for allowing me to talk. Goodness cheese, President Peterson, for the opportunity to give a very brief report about where the Alaska Native Brotherhood and the Alaska Native Sisterhood are going. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Grand President Sasha Sobola, for your words today. At this time, to close out our program, we would like to welcome the Clinton Haida Elders Dance Group to provide a performance.
Goodness, Chish. My name is Ann Stepton. I'm the coordinator for the Elders Program. If you can't tell, I'm tippy-toeing because everyone's taller than me. I'd like to invite any of you who are in the audience, if you'd like to do this exit song with us, you're welcome to join us out in the hallway. The dance group is ready out there. And then I'd like to introduce you to Margaret Hobby. She's our Elders Program Specialist.
Could I adjust it? She's a little bit shorter than me. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the group history because it is Alaska Native Heritage Month, and the group first started in November of 2023 by Roberta Dundas. She retired and handed over the group to me. And our very first performance was March 2024 in the Elders Caregiver Conference. With that, it flew through the roof. We had over, I think, 1 million hits with the TikTok video. But it has been a very pleasure working with the Elders Dance Group. We're all learning, and we had practices. They've learned so much with it. A lot of them came to the group speaking to little to no Tlingit, and really excited to join the group because some of them didn't dance before, some of them had experience. So we came together with all different experiences, and we just came together and worked together, and it's been very a blessing to work with them. So without further to say, I'd like to start if Miss Sharon Lee is ready. Thank you. Mic check. Hello, thank you. So our next one is Taoyat, and Taoyat's a Kagwantan song. We have Miss Sharon Lee here, who's Kagwantan, and will give the English interpretation of what the meaning of the song is.
Taoyat was, let's see, as she said, is a Kagwantan song. And we have Kagwantan members in this group, but we respectfully asked Ed Mercer for permission for this group to do these two songs. Ed Mercer is one of the leaders of the Kagwantan. And Natalia, if she could move forward. She is the daughter of Frank White, who carried the name Taoyat. And now Paul White, her uncle, carries that name as well. So we are reaching out to children of Kagwantan, and I've learned also that you can also acknowledge your grandfather through this song. So when we sing out to you folks, please feel free to stand and acknowledge your father and your grandfather. The first verse of Taoyat means, "My grandfather's house has turned over with me. Which raven will save me?" The second verse, "With your religious belief, help me, children of the Kagwantan."
Our next one we have is Kashi. Ladies up front. Thank you, and to give a little bit of breath to Miss Sharon here, she'll give the English interpretation of Kwas Kashi, another Kagwantan song.
Okay, thanks. The first verse, his feelings are mixed together like the St. Michael's church bells ringing, his feelings for the Kagwantan children. Hearing your crying, Yanyedi children, has put my feelings underwater. You want to thank Bambi for being here?
So we have a few helpers in the dance group that, because some of the elders are new, we do have Bambi James. She's helped us with the hand motions to this song. We have Erica George at the other end, and my lookalike twin here, Carol Hobby. They both helped kind of coordinate, helping us get the elders in and coordinating in the background. Thank you, ladies. We did have a song caller, Jay Miller, but he was busy today with his children, so I just kind of mentioned it that he had helped us with the song calling to these songs. Thank you for your attention. I may have gotten her last name wrong, James Kinville. Thank you. We do have our Anne with us. I was going to say coordinator, but my supervisor. I want to give a big shout out and thanks to her for allowing me to continue with the dance group. And when I had gotten it, I was excited, but she probably couldn't tell because I always jump up and down inside. So thank you. It's been a real pleasure working with the elders in the dance group. So with that being said, we are going to do our exit, and thank you for your attention.
Gwyneth Cheesh, to our Clinton Haida Elders dance group. We just want to wish you all a wonderful day, a happy Walter Soboleff Day, and that concludes our program. Have a wonderful day.